Texas politics just got a jolt of electricity. Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett has officially announced she's running for the United States Senate. And whether you live in Texas or not, this race is going to tell us a lot about where American democracy is heading, and where our elections and our laws reflect the will of the many, not the wealth of the few.
I know y'all are ready to hear some good news, and some of y'all already heard it before you even got here. Yes, it is true. I am running to become your next United States Senator from the state of Texas.
Crockett enters this race with something we rarely see in Texas Democratic politics: national momentum, viral name recognition, and a message built around protecting democracy, civil rights, and basic human dignity. And she's running in a state where all three have been under sustained attack. This isn't just another blue candidate entering a red race. This is a test of whether a bold, progressive, unapologetically black woman can crack open one of the GOP's most fortified political strongholds. Texas has been drifting purple for over a decade. Democrats win the cities. They win young voters. They win voters of color. But Texas stays red not because Republicans consistently win the popular argument, but because state lawmakers have engineered systems that limit who gets to participate, especially voters of color. Crockett's candidacy is powerful because it speaks directly to the voters who've been pushed out of the process. Her message isn't just ideological, it's generational. She represents a surge of young, diverse, progressive leadership rising across the South. And unlike many past Texas candidates who tried to run as centrists, Crockett isn't sanding down her edges. She's running as who she is: sharp, direct, legally trained, and unafraid to call out extremist rhetoric for what it is. Before she ever announced this run, much of America already knew Jasmine Crockett because her congressional moments routinely go viral. Her style is precise, fast, surgical, and it cuts through the noise in a Congress where clarity often gets buried under obstruction and bad faith theatrics. This is why younger voters and women gravitate toward her. She reflects the frustration so many feel watching Republican politicians undermine rights while pretending to defend them. Now let's talk about the opponent, Senator John Cornyn, a fixture of Texas Republican politics for more than 2 decades. Cornyn has the advantages of incumbency, money, and an entire political machine built to keep Texas red. He's part of the old guard, steady, predictable, deeply conservative, and closely aligned with the GOP's national agenda, including efforts that restrict voting access and strengthen Republican control through courts and state-level policies. Crockett's campaign isn't just challenging Cornyn. It's challenging the assumption that Texas is permanently locked down by Republicans. Her very presence in the race forces a narrative shift. Texas isn't red because the people are conservative. Texas appears red because the system is built to keep it that way. And there's one more wild card in this landscape: Ken Paxton. He's challenging Cornyn from the right, and if Paxton wins the GOP primary, the general election becomes a very different race. Paxton carries years of scandals, an FBI investigation, and an impeachment trial that split his own party. A matchup between Jasmine Crockett and Ken Paxton wouldn't just be a partisan contest. It would be a clash between a pro-democracy civil rights attorney and a Republican figure defined by corruption allegations and hardline extremism. In some ways, Paxton may be an easier foil for Crockett, a symbol of the very authoritarian politics she's been fighting against. But it would also mean a noisier, more chaotic race, one that asks Texans directly what kind of leadership they're willing to accept. Texas has become the national laboratory for voter suppression, a characterization backed by multiple federal court rulings and civil rights organizations. From drive-through voting bans to mass ballot rejections, lawmakers have repeatedly targeted the mechanisms that made voting more accessible, especially for communities of color. Crockett was on the front lines of that fight in the Texas legislature. Her run brings the voting rights battle directly into a statewide race where millions more will be paying attention. Texas has one of the harshest abortion bans in the country, with women denied critical care even in medical emergencies. Crockett has been one of the loudest voices on Capitol Hill demanding federal protection for reproductive freedom. Her campaign turns that fight into a statewide referendum. Crockett has built a reputation for confronting MAGA extremism head-on. Her Senate bid is likely to become a flashpoint over the kind of politics Texans and the country want in the next decade. A future defined by rights, democracy, and representation, or a future shaped by culture war fearmongering and minority rule. Let's be clear. Crockett is going to face a wave of racialized and gendered attacks. Right-wing media has a pattern. When outspoken black women enter positions of power, the response isn't ideological, it's personal. They're portrayed as angry, radical, out of control, or divisive. Decades of research on political media shows that black women in leadership face disproportionate character attacks aimed at undermining their credibility. Crockett knows this playbook, and she doesn't shrink from it. She reroutes that negativity into strength, and that's exactly what younger voters admire.
And the cherry on the top, Trump drew me out of my home district. I know he's tired of me holding him accountable, dismantling his lies, and I know he's tired of me breaking through to millions of Americans, tired of me getting people out to vote, tired of me living in his head rent-free.
This campaign is not just about flipping a seat. It's about expanding imagination, especially for voters who've been told their voice doesn't matter. Crockett symbolizes a new kind of leadership in the South, unapologetically progressive, rooted in civil rights, willing to confront extremism, clear about what's at stake. And whether she wins or not, her presence in this race ensures one thing: the future of Texas and the future of democracy will not be shaped quietly.
Because we have a constitutional duty. We all took our oath, and maybe some of y'all just don't take it seriously. But I take it seriously when I take an oath to do a job, and my job is to look out and make sure that we don't have any kings or queens in this country.
This race is going to be loud, tense, hopeful, and deeply consequential. Jasmine Crockett is betting that Texas is ready for something different. Not moderation, not triangulation, but a candidate who says plainly what's broken and who's breaking it. And even if Texas stays red on election night, the ground is shifting. Demographics are shifting. The political imagination is shifting. Crockett didn't enter this race because Texas is already blue. She entered because Texas is changing, and she wants to be part of the force that pushes it forward. Thanks for spending a few minutes digging into this with me. If you want more grounded, progressive commentary without the outrage bait, subscribe and stick around. Every time you watch, share, and engage, it helps build a community that believes democracy is worth understanding and defending. I'll see you in the next video.